The little girl quietly lifted her skirt. She used a sharp object to prick her thigh, deliberately creating the illusion of her first period. Then with a frightened expression she approached her mother, showing her the blood-stained clothes. Sarah thought her daughter had truly started her period, so she immediately got up to take her to the room to handle it. But as soon as they entered the room, Anna anxiously urged Sarah to look at the photos. The photos were family portraits of various households. Sarah looked at her daughter with confusion. Her daughter, however, told her in a panic the Patties who had invited them on the trip were actually serial killers, and the families in the photos had already met tragic fates. Sarah thought it was her daughter's prank to leave this place, but little did she know what her daughter said next. Instantly made Sarah tense up. It turned out just moments ago, the little boy had deliberately thrown the ball out of the adult's sight. He quickly led Anna to a warehouse when no one was looking. Using a key he had stolen from his father, he unlocked the door. Then with Anna looking puzzled, he opened a hidden passage in the warehouse. Soon they stepped into the basement. What Anna saw made her realize something strange. The place was filled with various daily necessities and phones of different models. Just as Anna was still confused, the boy had just opened a photo album. Inside were pictures of various families, but strangely the Patties appeared in every single one. Seeing Anna still didn't get it, he quickly flipped to the page with his own photo, pointing to make it clear the Patties weren't his real parents. As Anna's face filled with fear, the boy pointed to his tongue again, then struggled to open his mouth wide. At that moment Anna finally understood. The boy could actually speak, but someone had cut out his tongue, and that someone was Patty. It turned out Patty and his wife were murderers. They had cruelly taken the lives of the boy's parents. Since they had no children of their own, they took the boy and claimed him as their son. To keep him from revealing their secret, they silenced him by cutting out his tongue. The boy then pulled out the freshly printed photos. To his shock, it was Anna's family in the pictures. It seemed Patty's next target was Anna's family. Anna was so frightened she started trembling, but she knew this was something she had to tell her parents first, so she snapped a picture of the photo as evidence. When the two of them stepped out of the warehouse, the boy immediately wanted to put the key back to avoid Patty finding out. Little did anyone know, Patty stumbled back into the room in a drunken state. Luckily he didn't notice the key was missing. The boy quickly came up with a clever idea and said he wanted to go horseback riding. Then he took the chance to hang the key on Patty's belt. Meanwhile Anna pretended it was her first time dealing with a certain monthly matter. She managed to lure Sarah back into the house. When Sarah found out the truth, she was utterly terrified. They had to get out of there immediately, so she quickly made up an excuse to call her husband over. He told him everything about the situation. At this point they had to pretend they didn't know anything, then find a reason to leave this place, but they didn't realize during the time they were gone, Patty had already noticed signs of the secret room being opened through the window. By now he had become wary of Anna's family. When Anna's family walked out of the room, they saw Patty wearing a strange, unsettling smile. Then Sarah tried to keep her composure and used Anna's menstrual cycle as an excuse to leave. Strangely, the Patties didn't stop them. Instead, they expressed their eagerness to meet again. But when Anna's family reached their car and looked, the tire was unexpectedly flat. They initially considered ignoring it and driving off, but just as they were about to get in the car, Patty stopped them. He pointed out that the tire was flat. They were completely unable to hit the road. What's more, they suggested replacing their tires with new ones to prevent Patty from noticing anything unusual about them. Mike had no choice but to reluctantly agree. Then, at Patty's invitation, he went with him to the warehouse to get the tools. Upon seeing the room filled with knives and firearms, Mike instantly